Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Board of County Commissioners Board meeting for Tuesday, October 6th, 2020. I am John Hutchings, the chair of the board. Also present is Vice Chair Commissioner Ty Menser, County Manager Ramiro Chavez, Assistant County Manager Robin Campbell, Clerk of the Board Amy Davis, and I don't know who else is on, but they will pop in when we get to them. So we're calling the meeting to order, and the Pledge of Allegiance is to be led by Vice Chair Commissioner Menser.
All right, let me make my flag visible, my little flag I have.
Oh, good.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. And I failed to mention that Commissioner Edwards will be a little bit late today, but he'll be joining us shortly. With that, is there a motion to approve today's agenda?
Move to approve agenda for Tuesday, October 6, 2020.
And I second that. So it's been moved and seconded to approve today's agenda. Are there any changes, additions, deletions? No?
No.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. And the board meeting minutes.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve board meeting minutes from September 29th, 2020.
I second that motion. It's been moved and seconded to approve the board meeting minutes from September 29th, 2020. Any corrections or changes? No.
No, sir.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Now we're at agenda item number 1, and that is the opportunity for the public to address the board. And when you come up to the podium, if you're in the boardroom, please introduce yourself and where you reside in the county. Address the board and not the staff. Please silence your cell phones. The board does not respond to public comment. And on an as-needed basis, the county manager will follow up with specific items. You're limited to 3 minutes, and you're not allowed to donate your time to another party. No comments that are lewd or offensive, inflammatory, hateful, defamatory, discriminatory in nature. We ask you please be respectful. No comments that are commercial in nature, and remarks about pending land use permits or similar matters that could come before the board wouldn't be appropriate either. And Romero, will you please address the electioneering?
Yeah, thank you, Commissioners. For the public who's planning to provide public testimony today, I will ask you to refrain from making any comments that can be construed as electioneering. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'll read the name. We only have one person signed up, and then we'll check to see if anybody has joined us via Zoom that would like to address the board. But the first one up, or the only one up at this point, is John Pettit.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is John Pettit. I live in East Olympia, Washington. I am going to kind of address a certain thing. I mean, one of the big things you're dealing with right now is the budget. I know my time's not up yet.
No.
Okay. The budget issue. You're going through all these wonderful budget meetings. It's a lot of fun and everything. I'm sure, well, it's actually rather hideous. It's a hard process. But the portion which I'm going to address is whether or not there is a purpose that you feel that you're actually accomplishing in terms of a relationship with your co-elected officials. This last year in the budget process, you approved the budget. You approved it, and when you approve a budget, it's supposed to be for a fiscal year. And because basically, I'll phrase it this way, a fire alarm went off that there was a pandemic and people may have misconstrued some of the data, there was a lot of fear that was brought in about a reduced level of sales tax. Amazingly enough, at the same exact time, we ended up having $10,300,000 additional funds go into the general fund that was unanticipated besides the fact. But you had that fire alarm, like I say, going off. Back in June 29th, you were told instead of being over 20 million of sales tax, it was only going to be 16,881,000. Well, and then it ended up on September 2, you were told it was going to be 19,400,000. And as of October 5, you were told, well, now we estimate it's going to be 20,427,000, which is even more than what the anticipated or forecasted sales tax revenue would be. My point is this. When you are committing to a budget this year, you are making a promise to your other elected officials to supply them the budget that you're supplying. As of right now, because two of you, Mr. Menzer and Mr. Hutchings, you chose to approve Amendment 4 and reduce the budgets, your word's not very well thought of as being necessarily worthwhile. If you don't keep your word about what the budget's going to be, then nobody's going to trust that it's going to be good this year. And that means that there's no confidence. So I'm going to encourage you, get the things corrected. If you've hurt somebody in the past by a wrongful action, correct it. That means go back and take away the budget reductions of August 4, correct it now. You know that you have more money in there than was anticipated at the time. It's the right thing to do before you start working on creating a new budget. Thank you.
Romero, is there anybody else in the boardroom?
No, sir.
Is there anybody on Zoom that would like to address the board?
Nobody on Zoom. Let me check the conference call.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. For those who have joined us this afternoon via our conference call, if you'd like to provide public testimony to the commissioners this afternoon, please unmute yourself, state your name, where you reside in the county, and you have 3 minutes. None, sir.
All right, thank you. That takes us to item number 2 on the agenda, the county manager's update. Do you have any updates, sir?
No, I provided some updates this morning related to some public feedback we have received in your email and the commission's email in the office. So, no.
All right, thank you. Agenda item number 3 is the consent items A through D. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve consent items 3A through 3D.
And I'll second that. So it's been moved and seconded to approve items, consent items A, B, C, and D. Is there any questions on any of those items?
No, we reviewed them this morning.
All right. I only have one question, and I guess it's for you, Robin. And that is, we asked this morning, it's only been a few hours. Did we ever get word back on whether TST funding is appropriate for the 3A, the safe restraints for the sheriff's office?
I did not get a response on that, no.
Okay. Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item number 4 is the auditors. Now I see we have Auditor Mary Hall with us. Welcome, Mary. 4A.
Public testimony has ended. I'm sorry, Commissioner. Public testimony has ended. Yeah, 3 o'clock. So for the public hearing, you need to come back at 3 o'clock. Excuse me, Commissioner.
So this is regarding the Center for Tech and Civic Life Elections grant money. Do you want to go ahead and address that, Mary? Why don't you unmute?
Sorry, I was just helping a citizen who just came in.
That's fine. Thank you, sir.
I need to get a t-shirt that says you're on mute. So Center for Tech and Civic Life is a organization that we work with quite a bit. They do a lot of training to the election community nationally. They're 100% grant funded. They work very closely with the Department of Homeland Security and the Election Assistance Commission. And they received a grant for $250 million from Mark Zuckerberg, who is the founder of Facebook. And they have offered that out to counties across the country. So we did submit an application for the grant. It was a simple application. They didn't ask how much money you were asking for. They asked how you planned on spending the money. So we checked the boxes where we felt we could use this money, and we were awarded just over $159,000. So it's a very, if I might say, liberal grant. The only thing you can't do is supplant your budget. So we did ask a question because I know our budget was modified, but that was before we put in our grant application, and they asked for our budget as of September 1st, and that's what we submitted to them. Yeah. We did just get an email back from them. It says modifications to your election budget do not affect the grant amount. That was determined on voting age, population, and other demographic information. So the grant may not supplant previously appropriated funds. If you would like to reimburse existing election costs incurred between June 15th and December 31st, 2020, you can do that. If you would like to spend funds on expenses you haven't budgeted for, you can do that too. Again, the entirety of the grant amount can be spent at the discretion of your election office on election-related costs. So that's what we plan to do. We have made efforts to put some security enhancements in place this year using a federal security grant. But what we'd like to do is shift those expenses to this grant because the security grant has a spend down of 4 years. So we don't have to spend all of that money until 2024. And I think, as I mentioned earlier in my budget presentation yesterday, we've outgrown our current facility. And I think that some of that security money could be used, moving into a larger facility and ensuring that we have security in place. So we have a lot of things we would be able to spend that money on. It's free money to the county, which we always like. So I really encourage your support and approval of this grant. And I'd be happy to answer questions.
Auditor Hall, you're welcome here anytime when you bring good news. Mr. Messer, any questions for the auditor?
Just for a sense of scale, and I think you were asked this morning, the cut that you were subjected to in August was, I think you said around $72,000 or something around there.
That sounds about right. Let's see. $73,950.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any other questions on this.
Thank you. And Mary, this grant from this Center for Tech and Civic Life Elections, other counties throughout the state have received this grant money as well?
Oh, yes. Just about I think every county applied for it. I know Pierce County got around $500,000. King County got, I think she said 1.2 million. Good. So it's based on registered voters and other demographic information. I know Mason County received just over 30,000.
So registered voters, not actual people that have voted in the
Correct.
past. Okay. And how long has this been going on, this grant, this organization?
This organization really popped up after the 2016 presidential election, like so many others, like MSISAC and EIISAC. I'm not sure exactly where they get their funding, but they are well funded through grants. And of course, Facebook offered up a grant for them to distribute to the election community. But we've been participating in a lot of webinars that they have been putting on across the country. So I would say I've been in at least a dozen or a dozen and a half webinars over the last several months that they have conducted, just, trying to make sure that all election administrators are on the same page, that sharing ideas, and it's been a very valuable organization.
Well, anytime you can receive a grant for almost $160,000 for free, that's wonderful news. And I know you can
Yes,
use
it is.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the Thurston County Auditor's Office to accept a grant of $159,860 from the Center for Tech and Civic Life to be used exclusively for the public purpose of planning and operationalizing safe and secure elections during the COVID-19 public health emergency, and to authorize the Thurston County Auditor to sign the agreement and any future amendments that do not exceed 10%, subject to meeting all grant requirements.
And I second that motion. So it's been moved and seconded to approve the Center for Tech and Civic Life Elections Grant. Any further discussion or questions? Nope. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Mary, very much. I'll
Thank
see
you very
tomorrow.
much.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mary.
Bye.
Agenda item number 5 is Central Services, a bid award for family and juvenile court camera controls. And is Marius gonna present this, or who's gonna do this?
Maria.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
If you need me.
So go ahead and introduce yourself and your title and explain it to us. Thank you.
Okay. This is Mariusz Kowalewski. I am project manager for Central Services. The project which we are doing is the project to install security cameras in correction site and take care of a court site using same backbone system for both systems. And project is to be committed hopefully by end of year.
Okay. Any questions, Commissioner Menser?
Rich, when you mentioned the same backbone system for both systems, can you spell that out for me? What systems are you referring to that are using the same backbone? You say?
So network has a so-called backbone. So to run cameras, we need to use the network present system. And if we can use joint, we're saving funds because we are using combined system, which is providing support and communication with the whole county, concept of county-wide security system. And this was part of recommendations by designers to allow for such savings.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any questions because we've discussed this before. So is there a motion?
I move to award a contract to Absco Inc. of Linwood, Washington, not to exceed $239,856.87, which includes the base bid, Washington state sales tax, and up to 10% contingency for the Family and Juvenile Court FJC Camera Controls Project, number 25537, and authorize the Assistant County Manager to sign the contract and any change orders due to unforeseen conditions only, not for changes in scope that do not exceed 10% contingency.
All right, and I second that. So it's been moved and seconded to for the bid award for project 25537. Any further questions or discussion, Commissioner?
No.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Thank you, Marius.
Thank you very much.
Agenda item number 6, A and B, this is Public Health and Social Services for Consolidated Contract. And we have Public Health and Social Services Director Shelley Slaughter with us.
Good afternoon.
You go ahead with 6A, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm here today to request the board to consider approving amendment number 16 and number 17 of our Washington State Department of Health Consolidated Contract, also known as the CONCON. This is our instrument that passes federal and state funding to local health jurisdictions. Typically, we receive amendments for the CONCON every 2 months. And so this request today includes 2 amendments, 16 and 17. The total maximum of this consolidated contract amendment is $12,778,283 for the time period of January 1st, 2018 through December 31st, 2020. This consolidated contract amends the statements of work for activities including COVID-19 response activities, immunizations, disease control and prevention, tobacco and vaping prevention, opioid overdose prevention, our syringe services program, recreational shellfish activities, and public health emergency preparedness activities.
All right, thank
Are there
you.
any questions?
All right, Commissioner Gary Edwards has joined us. Welcome, sir. Do you have any questions of Shelley regarding this topic?
No, I don't have any questions of Shelley. We went over this adequately this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Messer?
Nope.
Okay. All right, so is our motion?
I move to approve Amendment 16 and 17 to the State of Washington Department of Health Consolidated Contract, CLH 18264, increasing the contract's overall total by $8,171,784 for a revised maximum consideration not to exceed $12,778,283 for the duration of January 1st, 2018 through December 31st, 2020, and authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the amendment and any future amendments to contract CLH 18264.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve amendment number 16 and 17 to the Washington State Department of Health for 2018 through 2020. Any further discussion? Nope. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Shelley.
Thank you so much.
Next is 6B, amendment for rent and utility assistance to Community Action Council. And we have Tom Webster. Hi, Tom.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Tom Webster, Public Health and Social Services. So we're asking you to approve an amendment to an existing contract with Community Action Council of Lewis, Mason, and Thurston counties to provide rent and utility assistance in Thurston County for $1.6 million and to extend the period of performance until November 30th of 2020. In June earlier this year, you approved an allocation of just over $1 million in CARES money to be used to support vulnerable populations. As part of that allocation, we awarded a contract to CAC, Community Action Council, for $172,954 to provide low-income households with that were at risk of losing their housing with rental assistance. So we're asking to amend that contract with some additional CARES Act money that the county has, with $1.4 million being used for rental assistance and $200,000 specified for utility assistance for ratepayers throughout Thurston County. Our current contract also currently is set to expire October 30th, and with this funding, we'll be able to extend the contract until November 30th of 2020. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Gentlemen, any questions for Tom?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know if it's as much as a question you could answer in the affirmative, I guess, is part of this is a direct result of the Public Utilities Commission folks asking the County Board of Commissioners to address a shortfall on some of their ratepayers. Is that right?
That is correct. My understanding that the commissioners did receive that request, and that was the county was not able to provide that funding directly to the PUD. And so Community Action Council has a utility assistance program. And so this was an existing vehicle in order to provide funding to those ratepayers as well as to any ratepayer throughout the county. So we are able to, with this funding, we'll go to support the PUD's request, but also to other ratepayers.
I guess
I'd look to Robin if she has any additional information on that, as that didn't come through our office.
So for public entities, we cannot use CRF funding to backfill lost revenue. And the U.S. Treasury guidelines have stated that for a utility company, default on personal utility payments is lost revenue. So that's why you could not give a grant directly to the PUD.
Yes, I guess I'd just like to say for the viewers out there that oftentimes we have to figure out ways when there's a need to address that need. And I think this was a good example of the Board of County Commissioners coming to that issue that was brought to us by the Public Utilities Commission and still be able to fix the issue that they were dealing with and serve the citizens of Thurston County. Thanks.
Yeah, and I would just echo thanks to Romero and Robin and Shelley and Tom for figuring this out for us. Thank you. Commissioner Menser, any questions or comments? Okay.
I agree with what you guys have laid out there.
Beautiful. Is there a motion, sir?
I move to approve an amendment to contract 2021-CAR-COV-CAC with Community Action Council of Lewis, Mason, and Thurston counties to provide rental and utility assistance in Thurston County for $1,600,000 and to extend the period of performance until November 30th, 2020, and authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the contracts and any amendments that do not change the dollar amount or duration by more than 10%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the amendment for rent and utility assistance to the Community Action Council. Any further discussion? Nope. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. That motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Shelley. Agenda item number 7, Public Works, right-of-way vacation in the plat of Burbank Acre Tracts. And we have Craig Sisson, Real Estate Services Manager with us. Hi, Craig.
Hello, Commissioners. Thank you. On January 14th, 2020, a public hearing was held on the vacation of various portions of right-of-way in the plat of Burbank Acre Tracts. These unopened rights-of-way were dedicated to Thurston County by a plat recorded under Auditor's File Number 57043 on July 2nd, 1912. The hearing examiner considered the mandated criteria and determined that 1, the rights-of-way were never opened or used for public travel. 2, it is not necessary to maintain these rights-of-way for public use as the adjacent properties have access from surrounding roads. And 3, the public will benefit from this vacation, that the county will be relieved of liability for the area. The county receives compensation for the rights-of-way based on current appraised value, and the value of the petitioner's property will increase with the additional area. The Board of County Commissioners adopted the hearing examiner's recommendation for approval by resolution number 15874, subject to payment of compensation consistent with Thurston County Code 1336030. This condition has been met. The road vacation is in alignment with the county's strategic plan and initiative 8 to support robust and well-maintained infrastructure systems for a thriving community. I'm here to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions of Craig?
No, sir. I think Craig's done a good job over the last few weeks addressing this issue in front of us. Thank you.
Commissioner Menser?
Nope.
Nope. And since this began in 1912, there's hardly a rush to judgment. All right, is there a motion?
Move to approve a resolution vacating various portions of rights-of-way in the plat of Burbank Acre Tracts as outlined in the recommendation.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the right-of-way vacation in the plat of Burbank Acre Tracts. Any further discussion? Nope. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Greg, very much.
Thank you, Commissioners.
That takes us to agenda item number 8, which is the commissioners reporting back on our work sessions and our work and activities. And I'll start with Commissioner Edwards.
And I'm going to keep it short because I don't want to report on routine things that you hear all the time. And actually, other than a little bit more with SWAC and a little bit more with water quality, I had a pretty routine work on week on meeting with those commitments last week. So I'll just let it go at that. Thank you.
All right. And Commissioner Menser?
Thank you. Yes, beyond my routine board assignments, I participated in the SPSCC Foundation fundraiser event I participated at a public forum regarding a project, capital project at Lot, where they're kind of redoing the guts of the plant while trying to keep it safe and functional. Just really interesting. Attended the special meeting of the Chehalis Basin Board to find out what the plan is for the response to the governor's directive to look at local alternatives to a dam in the Chehalis Basin. Had a meeting with U.S. Fish and Wildlife regarding some aspects of the HCP. Had meetings with citizens regarding Black Lake. Sat as a panelist for the Thurston Climate Mitigation Plans public outreach events. There's one more planned. We did a 90-minute one yesterday. More meetings about a potential resource hub for the county. But I wanted to just take a minute to the most unique and the coolest event of the last week for me was a retirement event for one of our prosecuting attorneys, Jim Powers. Almost 38 years of service to Thurston County. And that in and of itself is amazing. But Jim, I was as most folks know, I was a criminal defense attorney and a public defender prior. So it was my job to be adversarial with the prosecutors, but that just was not how Jim Powers did business. He always collaborated in an honest, straightforward way. He was always incredibly well prepared and respected by the judges and the other defense attorneys. I can say categorically, just about my favorite prosecutor to work with. And I had maybe a dozen cases with him over the years, and it was really cool to hear reports from all of his colleagues and other folks in the system who worked with him more, to hear that my impressions was exactly in line with everybody else's. The judges treated his legal analysis and opinions as the gold standard, and we're just really going to miss him in Thurston County. And I was glad John Thunheim, the prosecuting attorney, did a great job of putting that program together. It's a great turnout. It's too bad it had to be virtual, but it was a really great turnout. And yeah, I just want to give that shout out to one of Thurston County's great public servants.
Excuse me. Regretfully and regrettably, I couldn't make that commitment or that meeting or his retirement. But Jim Powers and I went back to the 80s when I was in detectives with the Olympia Police Department. And I'm glad to hear you say, from your perspective, Ty, the feedback that you just provided with the way he conducted himself and conducted trials. He was a brilliant man, and he had obviously, from law enforcement perspective, he had a great reputation. And he was always operating just even keel and quiet and slow. I mean, but he was just deep, very, very smart. I never saw him really get upset. But boy, he knew his way around the law. Just a brilliant man. He will be sorely missed. He's a very, very good man. I had a phone call meeting last week with Representative Lori Dolan and Mayor Pete Comet over the Capitol Lake, the Chutes Estuary issue. And this was about a 30,000 foot level. We discussed research and the process and such. Didn't make any decisions, but just talked about it. And I'm working with WASAC, the Association of Washington Counties, on their Professional Development Committee, and the Governor's Task Force on Independent Investigations of Police Use of Force, another meeting last week, and another one today that I missed because of this board meeting. And last week also attended the Mayor's Forum, where I meet with the mayors in the county, and we discussed the Regional Housing Council, and we actually had a presentation, a question and answer. The Evergreen State College is doing an outreach as they search for a new college president. And so Ray Mobley, who is part of this research or outreach group of individuals, talked to all of us, the mayors and the council, or commission rather, what type of skills, knowledge, ability, what types of things do we want or look for in a college president. And we talked mostly about image and communication and leadership and such. But it was very good that the college reached out. Ray Mobley, a very dynamic man, knows what he's doing. So that was pretty cool. And that is all I have. And I'm turning it now to Romero, County
Thank
Manager.
you, thank you, Commissioner. Let me walk you through your combined schedule for the upcoming week, where at least 2 commissioners will be present. You may have individual appointments on your individual calendars. Those will not be part of my report. Here in just about 30 minutes, at 3 o'clock, you have a public hearing where you'll be receiving public testimony related to a proposal to close portions of 188 Avenue Southwest. Moving on to Wednesday, October 7th, Thursday, October 8th, and Friday, October 9th, you have budget presentations where offices and departments will present their proposed budget for 2021. There's 2 sessions divided in the morning and the afternoon. The morning sessions are from 9 to 11:45, and the afternoon sessions from 1:30 to 4:15. And those sessions are the same for the next 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We have already uploaded online as to the schedule of these presentations if the public would like to follow up via live stream. Moving on to Monday, October 12th, again, you have budget presentations from 9 to 11:30. And then you'll break in at 12 noon, you have your regular WASAC, Washington State Association of Counties, virtual assembly, where you have the opportunity to talk about the current conditions with your fellow elected officials across the state. And then one in the third in the afternoon to 4:15, you have follow-up budget presentations. Then you will convene on Tuesday, October 13th. You will have your regular agenda setting, your regular at 9 in the morning. At 2 in the afternoon, you have your regular Board of County Commissioners. At 3:30, you have your regular Board of Health meeting. And at 5 in the afternoon, you have a public hearing related to a proposal for smoking and vaping prohibitions in public places. That's all I have for you.
All right, thank you. Commissioners, anything for the good of the order? No, okay.
No, sir.
County Manager, is it a completely different Zoom then for the public hearing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then we are going to conclude this meeting and it is adjourned. Thank you all for joining in.
Thank you.